Okay, so we are going to have a quiz tomorrow, guys. And let me tell you exactly what's going to be on there and exactly how to prepare for tomorrow's quiz. Okay, so questions will be selected from the work we received this week. Okay, so the very first thing we received was that 2.1, which was practice writing equations given sentences. So I believe there was another video where I already explained questions 1 and 3. That would be good to review. Let's talk about 2 and 4 right here, just to practice. When we look at this thing, it says the sum. What does sum mean? Add. Okay, so we're going to be adding, and when it says the sum of 5 times h, that's one thing that we're going to be adding, and twice g, that's another thing we're going to be adding. So you're going to put 5 times h plus twice g, that's 2 times g. And then it says is equal to, so you put is equal to 23. I hope everybody understands how to do this section 2.1. It's really the same thing as before, words in algebra. The only difference is that the word is means equal. And sometimes they even say is equal to, which means equal sign, right? So let's try number 4, just to make sure that we're going to understand this first part of the quiz tomorrow. It says 3 plus the sum. Okay, let's just go with 3 plus. So 3 plus is 3 plus. Now, when we see the word sum, that means that you're going to be adding. So we're going to be adding, but I might as well put it in parentheses, because when I say sum, I'm talking about the answer of two things that are being added together. Okay? So 3 plus the sum of something and something. So the question is, what is that something and something? It says the sum of the squares of w and x. The squares of w and x. I notice that it says squares with the s on it. So square right there and a square right there. At the very end, it says is 32 equals 32. And that's the equation on that one. There will be questions like this, exactly like this, on tomorrow's quiz. As a matter of fact, I selected questions straight from the worksheet, cut and paste, on tomorrow's quiz. Let's go to, I picked this one because the answer in the back could be different than your answer. So you know what, guys, if you happen to have this worksheet 2.1, you might as well take it out right now and check out number 11. So they want us to write the phrase that is shown on this equation, the sentence that describes the equation. So as you look at this, it says 2 times, but could I say 2 times m minus n? I can't, because when I say 2 times m minus n, that implies 2 times m minus n, and that's not what it is, right? That's not what it is. What we need to do is say 2 times, and we could either say the quantity, or not, or we could say 2 times the difference of m minus n. Let's do that. 2 times the difference. So we have 2 times the difference of m and n. There's 2 times the difference of m and n. How about this equal sign? We're going to say is equal to, or is x plus 7, or x increased by 7. And then again, you could also say, instead of plus, you could say increased by 7, right? So there's the answer for number 11. And there's different ways of stating the correct answer. The way I'm going to present it to you tomorrow is a multiple choice option. And I'm going to give you different multiple choices, and the answer could be more than one. It could be A, B, and C, or it could be D, none of the above. It could be more than one. Does anybody have the actual worksheet so you could turn around and tell me the answer that they have? So on the back of the worksheet, the answer they provide is slightly different than what we said. So I'm going to provide multiple choice options, and you need to select the 1, 2, or 3 answers that are that could work for that one. Anyhow, so we should be studying this part of the homework from yesterday. And that's one thing you're supposed to be studying, the 2.1 WSP. That's what we just went over. Let's look at 1.2 WSPM. I gave that to you yesterday as well as more practice on order of operations, PEMDAS. So this is the worksheet 1.2 WSPM, more practice on PEMDAS. So let's take a look at number 9. You got to look at P parentheses first, and that's 8. So you're going to have 8 in the parentheses, and notice that I'm going to rewrite everything. Times 5 plus 1. And of course, after that, we have multiplication and addition. Of course, we're going to do multiplication first. So we're going to have 8 times 5, which is 40, plus 1. Final answer is 41. This is straight from the worksheet that you received yesterday. It does have the answers provided to you on the back. Let's take a look at another. How about number 13 here? So we have several operations. There are no parentheses, but there is division, multiplication, subtraction, and exponents.
Exponents first.
Exponents first. All right, so let's show some work here. I'm going to circle what I'm going to do. I'm going to circle the 3 squared. Notice that I did not include the minus sign. Why not? Because the square belongs to the 3. The minus is something totally separate. Unless it had some parentheses. Like if I had a parenthesis like this, then that would be a different story. I would be including it. But I don't have parentheses around that minus. So it's only the 3 squared. And what is 3 squared?
9.
9. So we have 9, and let's rewrite the rest. So I just rewrote everything. I brought everything down. And now we have 3 operations: division, multiplication, and subtraction.
Divide.
So when you have division and multiplication, yeah, you divide. You go from left to right. So let's actually do 14 divided by 7, and we get 2. Let's bring down everything else, the times 5 and the minus 9. And then multiply. 2 times 5 is 10, and then 10 minus 9 at the very end is 1. So this is going to come out on tomorrow's quiz as well. So we already went over 2.1, 1.2, and also 1.4, which is what I gave you just right now, WSGI. That's reviewing distributed property and combining like terms. Yeah, distributed property and combining like terms. So you know what? I'm going to make a separate video of this worksheet reviewing distributed property and combining like terms. So make sure that you go over all 3 worksheets, because I'm selecting straight from the worksheets, and you're gonna have those exact questions on tomorrow's quiz. So we are gonna make another video on WSGI 1.4. Right now, I wanna go over the class opener again, because that's also another way of preparing for tomorrow's quiz. So let's check that out. Here we go. So quickly, 2 times the quantity. If you're thinking, what does quantity mean? Quantity means parentheses. Parentheses. Okay, so when I say 2 times, you could put the dot if you want, but quantity means parentheses. And what belongs inside the parentheses? It says right here, x minus 3. So you put x minus 3 right in the parentheses, and it says is x. So equals x, because remember that the word is means equals. Number 2, it says twice. What does that mean? That means 2 times. Now it says the difference, which implies subtraction, of m and 5. So the subtraction of m and 5. So you put the m here and the 5 over here. That's the difference of m and 5. But you absolutely need parentheses. Because if you didn't put parentheses, it would say 2 times n decreased by 5. And it says twice the difference of m and 5. Then it says is, which implies equal, and 7, and that's it. So that should also help you for tomorrow's quiz. Again, PEMDAS is this next section. We're going to multiply first. That's 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. I am going to go through this kind of fast, so please feel free to watch this at home and hit pause as many times as you need to. Number 4, we have subtraction, multiplication, addition. I'm going to multiply first. I'm just going to multiply 5 times 4, and I'm going to bring down everything. In other words, I'm bringing down the 30 and the minus sign and the plus 2 at the very end. 5 times 4 is 20. So now I really have 30 take away 20 plus 2. From left to right, I want to go 30 take away 20, that's 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. Final answer. Moving on to numbers 5, 6, 7, 8 over here. So number 5, we have brackets, which means we zoom in to what's inside the brackets, but then inside the brackets we have more parentheses, which means we zoom in and do what's inside those parentheses. So 6 minus 1, that is 5, and what I'm going to do is rewrite everything. So I'm even going to keep the parentheses, put the 5 right here, bring down the square, the bracket, the minus sign, the 30, the bracket, the plus, the 5. Okay, then after that, I'm still inside the brackets, so I'm going to do exponents next. So this will be 25. The negative sign is not in there, it's outside. So it's still going to be the bracket, still going to be 30, it's still going to be minus, but you're going to have a 25 in here now. Now outside the bracket, you have the plus and the 5. You bring everything down. Inside the brackets, you still have 30 take away 25, which is what? 5. That's right, 5. Close the brackets, you have plus, you have 5, and 5 plus 5. There's no need for the brackets anymore. 5 plus 5 is 10, and we're done. Jump into number 6. Again, pause it if you need more time. 5 times 4x, that is 20x. 5 times negative 9 is negative 45. That's it, you're done. Moving on to number 7. 7 is combining like terms, x's with x's, x squares with x squares. I'm going to combine this 4x squared with this positive 3x squared. If you have $4 and you have $3, you're going to have a total of 7 of those exact x squares. You're just adding. 4 plus 3 is 7. Bring down the plus 2x. You cannot actually add x squares with x's. Those are different terms, so you just leave it like that. Moving on to number 8. On number 8, we're going to distribute first because distributive property is multiplication. This one's kind of tricky. Negative 2x times x. Well, that's really a negative 2, but x times x is x squared. Please don't forget to put that x squared right there. And then negative 2x times negative 5, that'll be a positive 10x. And then what I'm going to do is bring down the rest. And after that, I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to start with x squares. I'm going to go with negative 2x squared and positive x squared. That's like if I owed somebody $2, but I had $1. I can't even pay them off. I'm still going to owe them one of those dollars, but in this case, one of those x squares. And then I want to combine the x's with the x's, so I have a positive 10x and a negative 6x. That's like having $10 and owing somebody 6. I'm still going to have $4 left over after I pay them off, but in this case, it's not dollars, it's x's. And last but not least, we're simply going to bring down that minus 1, and this is your final answer right there, negative 1x squared plus 4x minus 1. So we've covered pretty much everything that's going to be on the quiz except for that other extra worksheet that I just gave you, the WSGI 1.4 reviewing for distributive property and combining like terms. Okay, so we're actually going to have to make a separate video for this worksheet because I ran out of time.